to the local business institution of higher learning and government. And this year's honoree is a staple around the Purdue baseball program as a fan and a mentor. It's certainly prominent in the greater Lafayette area. John Miner recently retired from his position as Director of Operations for Lafayette Parks and Recreation Department. He is a prominent figure in the local parks management scene and involved in various projects and operations throughout our community. Possibly his most important role, Coach Goff, was allowing the Boilermakers baseball team access to Loeb Stadium when weather didn't allow them to play at Alexander Field. I know that's true, isn't it, Coach? And Coach is going to come up and help me with this award. But we want to talk to you about John in the way of his professional responsibilities and roles. As Director of Operations, he did high-level decision-making, project updates for the Lafayette Park Board and the Board of Public Works and Safety. In the area of project management, he presented and managed various park improvement projects, including the Cap Park all-inclusive sports field and resurfacing of basketball and tennis courts and upgrades to the Columbian Park Primate Complex. And then in the area of community sports and facilities management, his work has included managing the operations for local community aquatic facilities like the Benton Pool, Castaway Bay, and Tropicanoe Cove, as well as overseeing many maintenance and safety improvements for playgrounds and athletic fields. This year's honoree for community service is John Miner.
Well, thank you, Coach Goff. All right. I did have to write a few things down. My wife asked me a couple weeks ago what I was going to say, and I said I had a couple things in my head. I might just wing it, and she said, you better write something down or else I'll just drone on, and nobody wants to hear that. Coach Goff and the entire Purdue staff, Dr. Howitt, thank you so much for this humbling, honored, and Nate, for your kind introduction. Made me sound way more important than I actually was in the Parks Department. And getting to know Coach Goff these past 5 years, working with him and the Purdue baseball team to get into Loeb Stadium, certainly has been a highlight. Quickly realize about Coach that he's not only an outstanding baseball coach, but an outstanding person and leader for young men. And he has this uncanny ability to convince you that you are integral to everything that they do in the baseball program. And if you've ever gotten a text from Coach Goff, you know, it typically ends with something like, I need you there, can't do it without you. It really makes you feel part of it. And I appreciate that. I appreciate getting to know him the last 5 years. You know, really in what we do in the community and what I did in the community was really just being the person that my parents raised me to be, which was the, when you have an opportunity to help somebody, to lend a hand, to go ahead and to do that. And certainly, the fact that it was Purdue baseball in this instance made it a lot better for me. We certainly wouldn't have been excited to help that university from Southern Indiana get into Loeb Stadium. They have done it, but we probably would have made a jump through a few more hoops. Again, thank you very much. And I was going to go on. I had a big section in here about the type of player I was in high school. I was going to talk about really what a good player I was, but Coach Burton, my high school coach, is here, and I don't think I'd get away with it. I was a right-hitting first baseman and designated hitter, and right-hitting first baseman and designated hitters don't play a lot. And I couldn't run either. So when I did get a play, if I got on base the first time up, you know, you got to first base, and they typically just call Tom, because here comes a pinch runner. And if I happened to be fortunate enough to get on base the second time I got up in the fourth inning, I was out of the game. So my excuse was I just wanted to stay in the game and maybe get another bat, which is why I hit well below the Mendoza line in high school. So, but thank you for having me and being part of it. Really, it's just, you never know when you have an opportunity creating a ripple, and you do that enough times, it creates a wave, I'm happy to be one small part of a ripple, and hopefully with all of the other ripples of support that are in this room, in this community, it can create that wave for 2026 Purdue baseball team and carry them to great heights, and success in the NCAA. So again, thank you again all very much. Hail Purdue.
John, thank you very much. Congratulations. Our next award tonight, Purdue Baseball would like to recognize their Alumnus of the Year. This award is bestowed upon a degree-holding Boilermaker that has demonstrated outstanding loyalty towards and continued interest in supporting Purdue athletics and Purdue baseball. The nominee must demonstrate exemplary personal integrity and stature, such that the staff, the student athletes, and the alumni of Purdue University will take pride in and be inspired by this recognition. This year's Alumnus of the Year award recognizes someone who's made a huge impact both off and on the baseball field. This year's recipient is Bo Baltzell. Bo earned a Bachelor of Animal Science degree from Purdue in 1996. He currently serves as president of Gladwin A. Reed Company, or known as Garco, a firm specializing in animal nutrition products and ingredients. Bo joined Garco in April of 2011 and is currently the president of this national firm. Garco headquarters in Bo's hometown of Omaha, Nebraska. In addition to his professional business accomplishments, Bo was also very formidable on the baseball diamond in West Lafayette, having played for the Boilermakers from 1993 through 96. As a four-year letter winner, he was a fixture behind the plate, known for his ability to manage the pitching staff. Coach, we can see if he has any eligibility still remaining. Bo graduated from Purdue with that bachelor's degree in animal science. Following his senior season in 1996 as a catcher, he was drafted by the Arizona Diamondbacks in the 28th round of the MLB June amateur draft. Bo and his wife Amy, who is also an accomplished diver at Purdue, have three children, Reese, Mia, and Griffin. Both Bo and Amy have been involved and generous with Purdue and Purdue baseball, making tremendous impacts with their support of student-athlete scholarship and key Alexander Field projects. Please join Coach Goff and I in recognizing Bo Baltzell as the 2026 recipient of the Alumnus of the Year Award.
Well, I wasn't really sure if it was a joke, if I was supposed to come prepared to talk or not. There was a setup, but I do have a couple of things. Great to see some of my teammates here. I am kind of emotional. So this whole thing is standing up here, being the alumni of the year, is kind of weird for me. I guess redemption is true. I'd like, sorry. If you like this type of thing, support the team, and maybe you can stand up here next year. So, number one, thank you to Purdue and what it provided me. Thank you to Coach Goff, Coach Media, all the coaching staff that supports and believes in these players. Oh, yeah, thanks to the managers, the trainers, and the tutors that support the team. That goes unseen at times, and it's a big deal. Purdue supported me athletically and academically. I can assure you I needed that. Thanks for the tutors, again, for me. Thanks to you, my teammates, who may not have liked my fiery approach, but accepted me and let me become a better teammate over time. This is where I formed lifetime relationships. Biltmire, would you agree? Where's he at? I wasn't so likable freshman year, was I? But anyways, I'll try to get better at this. My mom and dad met here in 1960. My father played on the Rose Bowl team in 1967. But I was truly born a Nebraska Cornhusker. And Purdue was just a seed that had not yet sprouted. No one came here tonight, I understand, to listen to me talk. But I thought, what do I have of value to share? All I have is my experience. So I wanted to try to share this with the players. My senior year of high school, I really thought I was going to Texas A&M. But things changed at the last moment. There was a different plan. And I accepted to come to Purdue. As I evaluated the opportunities Purdue provided, I realized I could accomplish the same goals of playing professional baseball and getting an animal ag degree from Purdue. The platform that I wanted to accomplish was available here. It was definitely a rocky road at times while I was here. I wasn't always making the best decisions, and Purdue stood by me. I had my ups and downs with my coach while I was here. Our differences even got big enough that I almost left my freshman year. But the next week, we had cooler heads, and we agreed that I would stay. I respected him. We were just very intense together, I guess. I ended up spending 4.5 years developing and growing up and enjoying all aspects that Purdue had to offer. If I would have left, I would have missed out on the foundation for life that Purdue provided me. I have teammates for lifetime. Z, sitting here. Thanks for supporting me my freshman year. Thanks for giving me space and letting me grow. As I said, Z was a senior when I was a freshman, and we're still close together today. I finally got drafted in '96, as he said. I wasn't good enough to make it. I earned a national recognized degree in ag from Purdue, right? Believe me, it wasn't easy. I got a 19 on my ACT. Most importantly, I found my strongest supporter here at Purdue, my wife, Amy. You hear, wins and losses will fade, but friendships you develop never will. Maybe if we would have played better, I would remember more. Maybe if I would have played better, we won one more. Amy and I have been married for 28 years. My teammates at our wedding gave us an over-under of 3 years. As he said, Amy also competed here as a diver. And being a Boilermaker together with her makes us stronger. Amy's parents are also Boilermakers. And again, you heard Amy and I have 3 children, Reese, Mia, and Griffin, and a wonderful son, Max. Back to the over-under of marriage. The biggest blessing Amy and I found was the love of Jesus Christ. And this taught us to do life through God's strength, not our own. If you don't already understand this gift of love from God, we 100% encourage you to open your heart and let him in. Sorry, I lost my place. I don't know anyone that has regretted making this decision. As my son recently told me, the only sure thing in life is Jesus. Sorry for the long, lengthy talk and my lack of being able to deliver. I I had my own plans along the way, but God had another one, and Purdue was a big part of that foundation. Opportunity and change can be a good thing, and that is all around our players today. Make sure you keep your eyes open on the big picture. Purdue has a platform to get you to the big leagues, a nationally recognized college degree, and the foundation for a long-term loving family. Also, if you're capable, when you graduate, give back to who gave to you, Purdue. Boiler up, and we hope to see you in Omaha for the Big Ten Show.
Great stuff, brother. Thank you so much. Give me one more round of applause for John Enterbo. This evening, we're welcoming back to Purdue Brandon Buck. Purdue alumnus Brandon Buck, a Bedford, Indiana native, played for the Boilermakers from 1998 through 2000. Brandon was recognized as a three-time academic All-Big Ten honoree during his Purdue tenure. Buck is an author, a motivational speaker, and has served as a high school baseball coach. He's the founder and CEO of Infinite Strengths, a leadership development company. Brandon emphasizes character development over mere game performance, focusing on shaping young athletes into exemplary men, husbands, and fathers. His approach led to numerous draft picks, collegiate athletes, state championships, and the development of a nationally recognized program. He's returned to the West Lafayette campus multiple times over the last decade to share wisdom and leadership techniques with Purdue's baseball players and staff. Buck is the author of the book Distracted by Success, which was published in May 2024. Brandon has returned to coaching at the high school level this fall. He was hired as the varsity baseball coach at Boise's Timberline High School. As mentioned previously, he spent a decade as the varsity head coach at Mountain Point High School in Phoenix, leading his team to Arizona's 5A Division I state title in 2011 and a #1 national ranking. He has coached 22 high school All-Americans and 11 Major League Baseball draft picks. He was State Coach of the Year as an honoree and also as distinguished AP U.S. history teacher, recognized for his work in the classroom. Brandon and his wife Carrie have 3 children, Parker, Carson, and McCade, all passionate about Purdue and Purdue baseball. Please welcome our guest speaker tonight, Brandon Buck.
So what is the edge? When I pose that question, what images do you think of? Most think of an edge of a knife, edge of a road, an edge of a cliff. And I found when people do that, they tend to go through life seeking what is comfortable, what is easy, what is safe. If you look at this picture, and you imagine that this is the world, right, how we live. People that don't have an edge, they congregate into the middle. And they stay here because it's safe. They stay here because there's predictability. They stay here because it's comfortable. And it's not that these things are bad, right? Predictability is good. Safety is good. But I found that comfort tends to be the biggest thief of greatness. Comfort has destroyed more goals and more dreams than anything else on this planet. Just think about how many people, we get out of college, we get that job, we start making a little bit of money, right? And then we start to have a family, we start to do those things, and then the next thing you know, we stay. And we stay in that job even though we hate it. We stay for 10, 20, 30 years because we get comfortable. And we convince ourselves that there's nothing left. There's nothing else we do. We're too old. England and Japan, they just did a study not too long ago, and they found that on Monday mornings, more people die of heart attacks and suicide than any other day or time of the week. And they reference this as Blue Monday, because people have to go to work. I mean, these people are literally staying in a job that's killing them because they seek comfort. How many people we see that get into that relationship, right, and they're trying to decide, man, should we stay together or should we get married? And they stay, and they get into it, and that relationship turns south, it turns sour, maybe even abusive, maybe there's neglect. And they stay in that relationship because they get comfortable. Because they tell themselves it's better to be with somebody than maybe be by themselves. I mean, these people would rather be with the devil they do know instead of go be with the angel they've never met. But see, when I talk about the edge, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people that live on the outside. Because when we get outside of the middle, like this is where life happens. This is where dreams come true. Right? When we live on the edge, this is that thing that gets us to move even when we don't want to. The edge is that thing that we're so committed to, they don't keep us going regardless of the number of obstacles that get stacked up against us. The edge is what allows us to play at levels others didn't even know existed. The edge, if you look at the Wright brothers, this is what encouraged them to continue trying to fly, even though 2 weeks before their first flight, there was a newspaper article in the Washington Trust that said humans wouldn't fly for 1 to 10 million years. The edge is what encourages college baseball players to believe they have a chance of playing into the bigs, even though it's 1 to 2% chance. The edge is what encourages a single parent to keep going, to raise their kids, to go back to school to get an education, maybe start their own business. Like, what is it? What gives these people an edge? Fortunately or unfortunately for me, I had to go through something pretty difficult to figure it out. When I was 26, as you mentioned, I was named the head baseball coach at a pretty big school down in Phoenix, Arizona. Now, when I got this job, like, we were going to be it. We were going to be this team on a hill. People were going to look up to us like we were going to win. We were going to win now. We were going to have all these accolades. And within 4 or 5 years, I would be gone coaching college baseball. And through the first 3 years, like, it was happening. We won back-to-back region championships. We qualified for the state playoff, or semifinals only the second time in school history. Like, it was rolling. And then came year 4. See, unbeknownst to me, there was a whole group of parents that didn't like me. They didn't care for me. Now, I didn't do anything to build that relationship, and in fact, I didn't want to have relationships with parents, right? And so when I don't have a relationship with you, I'm a pretty animated coach. It can come across as this, I don't like your kids, right? That I'm mean, that I'm hurtful. And that year, unfortunately, we had 4 kids make some pretty bad decisions. 1 or 2 of them ended up flunking some classes. 1 got busted drinking at a party, and 1 actually used counterfeit money at the lunch line. That's a federal offense, just so you guys know to do that. Needless to say, there were suspensions, right? There were suspensions, kids were going to miss their season, and because 3 of these 4 boys were seniors, the parents came unglued. Like, they went on the offense, right? They went on the attack. And so every day for 2 months, I was meeting with administrators, I was meeting with ADs, I was meeting with superintendents, I was getting threatening texts and threatening emails, and it got so bad that I actually had to put restraining orders on a couple of parents. And in a season that started 13-1 and finished 16-16, it's pretty obvious to say, like, we lost our edge. And so when the season got over, I was leaving court, and I don't know if my dad remembers it, but he gave me a call to check in. And after he knew it was all right, he challenged me. He was like, Brandon, I wondered, like, what if you use this as an opportunity to make yourself better? Now, I don't know if any of you have gotten advice from your dad when you haven't asked for it, but it usually doesn't go over so well. Right? So I was like, no, man, like that, I'm the one that got screwed over right here. Right? These parents are crazy, whatever, but regardless, that question stuck in my head. I went home and I told my wife, like, can you believe my dad? And my wife agreed with me. She was like, no, I think he's right. And so I sat on it for a little bit, and it's when I realized, like, staying in the middle, like, it's a choice. Like, we can choose there, or we can choose to figure it out and get to the edge and experience all these amazing things that the world has to offer. But it's like, what did I need to figure out? And so during this time of reflection, I understood that there were 4 things I had to figure out. And the first was why. Like, why was I really coaching? Was I really only coaching for the wins, the accolades, so I could go on and play and coach, or not play, but coach in college, or is there something else? Like, why do you do what you do? Why do you teach? Why do you coach? Why are you in finance? Why are you a doctor, a lawyer, a husband, wife, mother, dad? Like, why are you doing it? And I'm sure if we went around the room, we would hear some really cool stories that I want to make a difference, I want to make an impact, I want to be, the dad or whatever that I never had. But what I really want you to reflect on is, do you want the responsibility that comes with that why? Because see, that's totally different. Like, I love being married, but the responsibility that comes with being a husband, it's totally different. And if I don't want it for that responsibility, then I shouldn't be married. Having kids, it's the coolest thing ever, but if I don't want the responsibility of being a father, then I shouldn't have kids. right? It's a total different thing. And so we can have these whys that we want to make an impact, but you want the responsibility with it because that's different. And if you don't, it's that responsibility that will actually burn you out. It's the responsibility that will cause you to lose your edge if that's not why you're in it. And so as I reflected, man, I wasn't just coaching to win. Yeah, I wanted to win. But man, I wanted to make a community where these kids were seen and they felt valued and they were noticed and they were developed to become amazing human beings. That they could go on and become morally sound husbands and fathers. Like, that's why I was doing it. And when I realized like that why was not about me, I won't stop. Right? I won't quit. Some of you have kids. If you knew they were dependent on you, what are the chances you would stop? What if you're tired? What if you're tired? What if you're sick? What if you have work responsibilities? No. Well, we won't because it's not about us. See, when I remove it from me and I put it on the other people, like we won't quit. When we know there are people depending on us, like we won't stop. And once I understood my why, that I wasn't there for me, like there's no way I could quit. And once I understood my why, the second thing I had to figure out to gain my edge is I needed to figure out who I was. See, I felt like forever I was this awesome chameleon. I could be whoever I needed to be in any situation. Put me in a classroom, I'd be the best student. Put me on a baseball field, I'd work my tail off. Put me in a church, I'd come across as the most faithful person. Put me on a Friday, Saturday night, I'll be the biggest idiot in the room. But see, when there's no consistency, there's no trust. And there's no trust, there's no edge. So I needed to figure out who I was, and I didn't just want to be this nice guy. Like, I wanted to be a good man. The thing about you, do you just want to be a nice girl, or do you want to be a good woman? You want to be a nice person, or you want to be a good human? And the fact I wanted to be a good man, I needed to figure out what that was. And so what I did is I started reflecting on all these values that I wanted to be known for. I started thinking of mentors that I looked up to, and many of them are in this room. I started thinking about characteristics that they had and what I wanted to be known for. And in my mind, to be a good man came down to be a person of faith. It came down to be a person of integrity. It came down to be a person that was courageous, that was responsible, that was persistent, and a person that was of action. Right? And that sounds so cool that I have these values. But Coach Goff, you know, there's baseball teams, there's sports teams, businesses all over the planet that have all these cool little values written up on a wall, but no one knows them and no one knows anything about it. They don't know what it means to do that. And so it's cool for me to have these values, but really, what was it? What did it mean to be a person of faith? What did it mean to be a person of integrity? And so as I sat down and I began to define these, and I take these values and I turn them into a verb, or if I turn them into an action, now I know. And so for me, I looked at faith. And I was like, you know what, maybe that's somebody that goes to church. Or maybe it's somebody that can read the Bible. But I don't know about you all, I know many people that have gone to church, they can quote scripture, but in my mind, they're anything but a person of faith. But man, we just reflected on that golden rule, that platinum rule, to treat people the way they want to be treated, treat people the way I want to be treated. I can't go wrong. Integrity is I do the right thing regardless who's watching. Courageous means I attack my fears. Persistence is I don't quit. Responsibility means I own it, and action means I do it. Now I know exactly what it is. I know exactly how to behave, and I know if I'm being that person. And most important, I know how to teach it, I know how to coach it, and I know how to measure it to everybody else that's around. See, once I knew who I was, and most importantly, once I took the responsibility to live it, now I started gaining an edge. But I think the greatest thing that I learned from when I understood who I was as a person is it kept me from sacrificing the relationships that meant the most to me. See, we can have this vision, right? We can have this why, we can have this purpose where we're going, and it's awesome. It's selfless, and it's giving, and it's caring. But if that vision causes you to sacrifice the deepest relationships in your life, it's too expensive. And my values kept me from doing that. So see, now once I knew my why, once I knew who I was, I started to gain an edge. But the third thing I had to figure out was my mindset. See, during my situation, like, I not only went negative, I stayed negative. Like, I felt sorry for myself, right? I fell into victimhood, there was blaming, all of these things. And because I stayed negative, I not only ruined it for myself, I ruined it for my wife, I ruined it for the really good kids on the team. Why? Because I made it about me. But I don't care where you're at, right? You could be in the middle, you could be on the edge. But every single one of us in this room, we are either in conflict, coming out of conflict, or about to go into it every single moment of our life. And so conflict is inevitable. But people on the edge, they're going to choose to figure it out. Right? We have a choice in the matter of how we're going to do it. You can either choose to go to the edge, or you can choose to give an excuse. And most often, that's what we do, is we sit back and we give an excuse. I don't have enough time, I didn't feel like it, I'm tired, I'm sick, whatever it is. And every time we give an excuse, we get a little bit closer to the middle. And when you think about wanting to, when you think about your feelings, do they really matter? Like, does the fact that you want to actually help you to become successful? Now, I don't doubt that wanting to can motivate you, but whether you want to or not really has no bearing on it. It's did you do it or not? Brownie. It's a good one. In your life, I know you've changed some nasty blowout diapers in your life. Has there ever been one time you woke up and rolled over to Jamie and said, babe, you know what I want to do today? I want to clean crap up off the kids, out of the car seat, whatever. Did you do it? You cleaned it though, right?
I'm the only one that cleans the cars in my house, Mark.
There you go, right? But he doesn't want to, but he knows he didn't wake up wanting to do it, but we have to do it. When I coached down in Arizona, we had all these kids that wanted to go out and play college baseball. But to do it, they had to get bigger, faster, stronger. Right? And the only time they had to work out was before school. There's not one high school kid that wanted to work out at 6 o'clock in the morning, but that wasn't the question. I didn't care if they wanted to work out. This is what we needed to do to go and do it. But so often we give an excuse. But you'll find the people on the edge, their thoughts are stronger than their feelings. Like, it doesn't matter if I want to or not. Did you do it or did you not? Are your thoughts stronger than that? So to figure it out, you have to become an optimistic person. But here's the thing with optimism is, optimism isn't always positive. Right? And I think people in the middle, that's what they confuse it with. That optimism, I have to be fake positive, I have to be naive, I have to do these things. But see, not everything in life is great. You boot a ball, right? You strike out, you screw something up, right? You make a mistake, death, disease, divorce, none of those things are positive. But it's at these moments, are you optimistic enough to keep moving? So sometimes in those situations, optimism is just not negative. Optimism is neutral. And it's like, can you keep moving during those difficult times? Because what I've learned is people on the edge, when they go through something really difficult, when they go through something really hard, they'll never waste that pain. But I'll say it again, when they make a mistake, they go through something hard, they never waste the pain. But whatever it is they get out of it, it doesn't mean that it's going to be worth it. See, sometimes in our life, we're going to go through something really difficult. We're going to go through something really hard, and whatever you get out of it, it doesn't mean it's worth it, but you're not going to waste it. You just think about how many of us waste that pain. We screw up instead of learning from it, we continue to make the same screw-ups. We all know those people that they get out of one bad relationship, and they get into another one, and you're like, dude, you're just dating the same crazy person, different hair. We see people put on weight, lose weight, put on more weight. We see people lose loved ones, and we come back and we vow, like, man, I'm never going to lose this close relationship again. I'm going to stay committed to it. Then a week, and 2 weeks, 3 weeks go by, and then slowly we lose that relationship, and we waste the pain of death. But see, people on the edge, they don't waste it. They figure it out, and they keep moving, and they know that it doesn't mean it's going to be worth it. So I have a challenge for you. I put bracelets on your tables. If you didn't get one, I've got more. But here's the thing with the bracelet. If you put it on, you're going to commit to 30 days of no excuses. Okay? But when you put it on, and some people have already said no, they're not putting it on. But here's the deal. If you put it on, when you make an excuse, you take the bracelet off, you put it on the other wrist, and the clock starts over again. Because what's going to happen is, it might take you a full year to go 30 days without giving an excuse. But what starts to happen to your life when you go 2 days and no excuse? And then all of a sudden you go 3 days and no excuse. And then you go 7. And then you give an excuse. And then you go 12. Every day you go without giving an excuse, you're getting closer and closer to the edge. But the beautiful thing about this is, it's not the no excuses, it's you becoming aware of it. Right? As soon as you change risk, you now become aware that you were given an excuse. Because most of us have no stinking idea that we're given an excuse. Right? And that's why we congregate to the middle. But as soon as I switched the risk, like, that's the positive rep. That's how I got better, because now I became aware of my thoughts, and I'll never give that excuse again because I did. Some of you might not ever go a full year without giving an excuse. I can't. But I can go today without giving one. Or I can go this moment without giving one. And as long as I stack that over and over and over again, I'm getting closer to the edge. And as I was thinking about my mindset and figured it out, I realized like I was the common denominator in everything. The good relationships, it was me. The bad relationships, it was me. Not necessarily that I was the fault, but I had a say in the situation. And once I took ownership of that, I started building relationships with parents. I started creating allies instead of enemies there. I started living my values. I started taking full ownership of this. And as I was doing that, I was gaining an edge. So once I understood my why, once I knew who I was, once my mindset was right, the fourth thing I had to figure out was who to let on my bus. See, I've given the Jim Rohn quote so many times, I feel like it's mine. That you will become the average of your 5 closest friends. That's physically, mentally, spiritually, financially. You will become the average of your 5 closest friends. You're around 5 negative people, you'll be the 6th. You're around 5 positive people, you'll be the 6th. You're around 5 fit people, you'll be the 6th. You're around 5 drunks, you'll be the 6th. And you just think about the kids that I allowed to be on my team. Like, they weren't bad kids, they just weren't the right kids. And because I allowed average to be on my team, we became average. But then you think about the conversation that my dad was strong enough to have with me, that my wife reinforced. You have people that are already on the edge, and all of a sudden they won't let you stay there, they pull you with them. I have a group of guys over here, and Bill sitting in front of me, okay? I've been friends with these guys. We met here at Purdue. There's 13 of us. Man, we've been friends for almost 30 years. There's doctors, there's lawyers, there's CEOs, there's entrepreneurs, there's financial advisors. We have guys that are leading massive teams. There's husbands and fathers. Do you realize how awesome and how easy life is when you surround yourself with people that are already like that? Right? They won't let you stay there. They'll challenge you when you're speaking negative and things that are going on. Johnny Mady, you stand up for me, buddy? If in this room you have somehow been positively impacted by this man, I want you to stand up. That's one guy. One guy. You realize how much easier life is when you surround yourself with somebody like this? You can sit down. When I played here, I didn't know John. I knew of John, but I didn't know John when I played here. I didn't get to know John until after I got out of school. And the more I got to talk to him, I was like, this guy's different. Like, he thinks differently. The way he acts, who he is different. So I started to get to know him. And as I got to know him, man, we started building a relationship. And the next thing you know, because I get to meet John Mady, I get to start working with the Purdue baseball team, and I get to speak at first pitch dinner. Like, guys, I didn't play. Like, I was in charge of the snack bag when I was here. Right? That's what I was really good at, too. Okay? Like, that's what I did. But because I chose to surround myself with somebody like that, okay, things started to change for me. So we have to be very conscious about who we surround ourselves with, because you will become the average of it. And it doesn't mean that they're trying to, it's just what happens. But see, once I knew my why, once I knew who I was, once I had the right mindset, once I was very selective about who to put on my team and who to surround myself with, okay, amazing things started to happen. One, we won, and we won a lot. But more importantly, I've yet to ever have another parent issue. I'm still coaching. I don't have, not parents that wish their kids played more, but I don't have parent issues. But the coolest thing now is to see these kids that I was coaching down in Arizona that are becoming husbands and becoming fathers. And we're starting to see really just how good of a job we did because we had an edge. And the last thing I want to leave you with, I think to kind of sum up the difference of people that are in the middle and people on the edge, is that people in the middle, they believe the way the world works, is they believe that once they have something, okay, they can do whatever they want and then they will be something. Right? They think, once I have enough money, I can do whatever I want, and then I'll be rich. They'll think, once I have this position, I can do whatever I want, and then I'll be successful. Once I have the relationship, right, we can do these things, and then I'll be in a great relationship. But that's not how the world works. That's how people think it does in the middle, and they're wrong. But see, the people on the edge, what they understand is that they flop it. They flop it, they understand that once I become the right type of person, I will do whatever it is I need to do to have whatever it is I want to have. Once I become the right type of person, I will do what I need to do to have as much money as I want to have. Once I become the right type of person, I'll do what I need to do to start. I'll do what I need to do to have this title. I'll do what I need to do. Once I become the right type of person, I'll surround myself with the right people, and then I'll be in a great relationship. And so if you look at things in your life, right, that you don't have, then it's simply letting you know that you haven't become the right type of person. And so I want to challenge you all when you get out of here today, when you become the right type of person, you will do what you need to do to have the right why. When you become the right type of person, you'll understand who you are, and then you will lead that person and live those values all the time. When you become the right type of person, you'll have the right mindset that you won't be negative, right? You will be optimistic even in those difficult times. And when you become the right type of person, you will surround yourself with the right types of people, and you will have everything in the life that you want to have. Why? Because you will live life on the edge. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for giving me the opportunity.
That is awesome. Thank you very much. It's time to meet our 2026 Boilermakers, and we would like to introduce them to you individually, and we'll ask each of the team members to please stand, and then we'll introduce our support staff as a group, and also our academic folks and managers. So first up, let's meet each player again. Gentlemen, if you can stand where you are, then we'll have a big round of applause for the 2026 Boilermakers. First, Dylan Drake, Sacramento, California. Charlie Veracruz, Bloomington, Indiana. Eli Anderson, Fairmont, Minnesota. You can remain standing, gentlemen. Brandon Rogers, Chicago, Illinois. Jackson Bissett, Bartlett, Illinois. Weston Boyle, Overland Park, Kansas. Caden Fry, West Orange, New Jersey. Quincy Marlborough, Loomis, California. Ali Banks, Stone Mountain, Georgia. Sam Flores, Lufkin, Texas. Lucas Grant, Joliet, Illinois. Sergio DiCello, Hamilton, Ohio. Ross Highfill, Madison, Mississippi. Zach Zykowski, Cedar Lake, Indiana. Trevor Kester Johnson, Morgan Hill, California. Trey Swittersky, Joliet, Illinois. Joe Trineri, Granger, Indiana. Avery Moore, Omaha, Nebraska. Aaron Manius, Uxbridge, Ontario. CJ Richmond, Indianapolis, Indiana. Jacob Boland, Cincinnati, Ohio. Jarvis Evans, Beaufort, Georgia. Jimmy Dion, Quebec City, Quebec. Cole Van Assen, Tinley Park, Illinois. Nick Colsey, Romeoville, Illinois. Tro Fellings, Kalamazoo, Michigan. Gavin Butert, Three Rivers, Michigan. Graham Collin, Fort Wayne, Indiana. Zach Erdman, Keller, Texas. Austin Klug, Caledonia, Minnesota. Noah Filer, Plymouth, Minnesota. Thomas Lynch, Evansville, Indiana. Jackson Greer, Cartersville, Georgia. Evan Schweitzer, Oakville, Ontario. Baron Sawyer, Abbeville, Louisiana. Thomas Howard, Lexington, Kentucky. Jake Kramer, Greensburg, Pennsylvania. Your 2026 edition of the Purdue baseball team. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, gentlemen. You may be seated, and we would like to introduce to you as a group integral parts of our operations, our managers who are in attendance. Would you please stand and be recognized, all of our baseball managers. Thanks for all you do behind the scenes. Purdue Athletics support staff keeps us moving and operating efficiently. With the members of our support staff, please stand and be recognized. Thank you. Last but certainly not least, I'd like to introduce to you Purdue Baseball's coaching staff. Please stand and be recognized as your name is read. Our sport administrator is Dr. Ed Howitt. Director of Player Personnel, John Madian. Supervisor of Operations, Zach Fashion. Assistant Coach Barrett Serrato. Assistant Coach Josh Newman. Assistant Coach Jimmy Brenneman. Head coach Greg Goff. Thank you, one and all. Now to get fired up for the 2026 season, please watch the video screens. All right, we ready? We ready for baseball? Let's go. A lot of those shots look pretty warm out there on the ball field. We look forward. Before I bring Coach Goff up to get us set for the season, a few biographical things about Coach, and I have a special thing to tell you about. Coach Goff, of course, entering his 9th year for the Boilermaker program, the 7th as our head coach, a lifelong baseball person. We're excited about where he's going to lead the team this season. If you didn't see it on the screens on your way in, I want you to make note, and Ben Turner wrote this, our SID, and just want to share some of the first few paragraphs from a few weeks ago. For his career-long commitment to integrity, excellence, teamwork, and community outreach, Purdue baseball head coach Greg Goff has been recognized with the Jerry Kindle Character in Coaching Award by the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Goff accepted the award at FCA's annual breakfast on the final day of the American Baseball Coaches Association Convention, which was held in Columbus, Ohio, the weekend of January 7th through the 10th. FCA annually presents the Kindle Award at the ABCA convention to the college or high school baseball coach who best exemplifies the Christian principles of character, integrity, excellence, teamwork, and service. Let's give Coach a hand for that. Now it's just about time to hear from the Boilermaker boss. As I just mentioned, his 9th season with the program, his 7th as the head coach. But of course, we're fired up where he's going to lead Purdue this season. But before I bring you up, Coach, I think I ought to share one story from baseball history. Throw a name that I know Coach Katie, maybe Coach Burton certainly would remember. This is a connection between Purdue baseball and Purdue University, I should say, with the great Neil Armstrong, that you might not know, Coach. Alvin Dark, the manager of the San Francisco Giants, predicted this in 1962. After seeing pitcher Gaylord Perry, remember him, Coach? Gaylord Perry, he was struggling in batting practice, as pitchers are wont to do, and the manager joked, "Perry, there'll be a man on the moon before you hit a home run." Well, 7 years later, on July 20th, 1969, Apollo 11 landed on the moon, and Gaylord Perry hit his first career home run within 34 minutes of the moon landing. So another Purdue connection there. With that in mind, we're going to introduce you to a man who always knows what's coming next, your head baseball coach, Greg Goff.
It's a great day to play too, isn't it? 17 degrees and ready to go outside, snow on the ground. It's so humbling for me to be here tonight and to stand in front of everybody here, to be honest with you. There are so many people in this room tonight that has influenced my life. So many people, from our players, from our coaches to our administration and Dr. Howard. So many friends in this room tonight that has allowed me to stay here and be a part of something so special. And I'm so grateful to be a part of this tonight. It's so awesome to see so many family members and fans, alumni, to be here tonight. To have Coach Katie up here, Coach, it's awesome. Thank you so much for me. How about another hand for just awesome to be around such a great room of people. Bo, congratulations. Awesome. You definitely outkicked your coverage with Amy. Y'all agree with that? Yes, yes, yes. No doubt about that. Congratulations on that. John, amazing to have you and to be a part of this community. Just awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Congratulations. Thank you for what you do for us. And Brandon, knocked it out of the park, man. Knocked it out of the park. For a guy that only carried the snacks, pretty good, man. Pretty good stuff tonight. Huh? Pretty awesome. I'll take some of them snack guys. So, but no, I just, again, I just want to take a few minutes and thank, our alumni that's here. You guys paved the way. You guys made the program what it is today. And for me to be the head coach, to be a small part of the legacy that you have created here is the reason why I'm so grateful to be a part of this. And so tonight, I would love to honor you guys. If everybody that played baseball here at Purdue, if you guys would just stand up and let us celebrate your years. I know your averages probably got a lot higher as you got older, and your wins go up. But would you please stand if you were a baseball player here at Purdue? Please, y'all stand. Absolutely awesome. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. I wish some of you guys still had eligibility. You guys look pretty good. So, but no, really, just again, so thankful for the opportunity and to have our team up here tonight. What great guys. They have bought into our blue-collar, hard-nosed approach. The same approach as our alumni played at. And they have bought into that. They have dominated the time mile this year. They have dominated the stadium runs right over there. And they killed the hills and never turned away. And that's why I'm fired up about putting a uniform on less than 2 weeks and getting after somebody else. It's going to be awesome. And I'm just so thankful for that. With our team, with this new age that we have, you saw there was a lot of different guys and different things going on. But I can tell you this, these guys have just come together as one. They have brought their accents from all over the world and their demeanors and all kinds of things to come together as one team. And I'm really proud of the fact that these guys will represent Purdue at the utmost this spring as we get ready to rock and roll. So, I just want to, again, thank everybody that's here tonight. I didn't have a chance to shake everybody's hand. Thank you for what you do for our program. Thank you for our players. Thank you for their families that are here to support you. Thank you for just our fan base and what they do for us. It's just amazing what Alexander Field has turned into over the last 3 or 4 years. And it's just awesome. It's a great home field advantage, for us. So just very, very thankful for the atmosphere that we've created here. Beating people like Arizona State last year and Notre Dame when they came in here last year was pretty incredible. The old Oregon Ducks are going to be here in about 4 weeks. Can you believe that? 4 weeks, open up Big Ten play in about 4 weeks. Coach Wazakowski, which is a great friend of mine that gave me an opportunity to come here and be a part of this, will be returning before long to start up Big Ten play. We need everybody here for that weekend. We need everybody here to get after the Oregon Ducks for sure. But, I just want to close by, just saying that we're looking forward to an exciting season. I hope you guys will make it out. Make it out this year. Bundle up. If not, we all get up in Chuck Pinnock's suite. I heard there were some drinks up there. I don't know if that's true or not, Dr. Howard, but that's what I hear. Or Orlando keeps it going over there in his suite. So, again, we want to make 2026 the best season that we've had since we've been here, guys. That's where this team is. We feel like we have a chance to win the Big Ten championship this year. We stay healthy, good things happen. I really think these guys have really bought into what we're doing. That's the expectation that we are working toward every single day. And that's what we're proud of. I just want to close with this. Let's just finish up this night. Again, as you go home, as you walk away from here, man, just be grateful for what we have, what an exciting time we have to be here, to be a part of it, have our relationships that we have. And let's break the attendance record this year at Alexander Field for the 4th year in a row. God bless you guys. Boiler up. We'll see you guys in about 2 weeks. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Coach. A couple of housekeeping notes before you go tonight. We hope you'll join us Sunday, February the 8th for Fan Fest and Super Bowl Sunday, 3 to 5 p.m. inside the Mollenkoff Athletic Center. It's going to be a great day. And alumni, we want to see you back on May 8th when the Boilermakers will take on Ohio State for Alumni Day later this spring. That's May 8th. So circle that on your calendar. And for more information about getting your season tickets, visit PurdueSports.com. Brandon Buck will be to the left of the stage for a meet and greet. If you'd like to get an autograph, get a picture with him, he would certainly like to visit with you. So make your way to meet Brandon after things end tonight. On behalf of the Purdue baseball program, all the coaches, Coach Goff, we're grateful for your continued support. Having another sellout for this banquet again this year. An exciting baseball season at Alexander Field awaits us very shortly. Drive safely. Boiler up, hammer down, hail Purdue.